Hi there, welcome to Cord Cutters, the show that brings you the future of television today. On this episode, we're taking a closer look at the Netgear NeoTV, also known as the NTV 200 if you want to get technical. It's a relatively new device from Netgear. I have one right here. This is the remote control, this is the device. And essentially it tries to do something similar to the Roku player, a pure online player that streams content from the internet, gets you Netflix, YouTube, a bunch of other good stuff straight on your television. Is it as good as a Roku? Is it better? Let's take a look. So first of all, a few more details about this player. Originally, I think it was supposed to sell for about $100. I've seen it mostly for around $70 recently, and this is it. Essentially very similar to a Roku player in size. If you take a look at the back, you have your Ethernet port, your HDMI port, optical audio out, and power, and basically that's it. There is no USB, nothing else, because it's pure internet, no local content playback. Then you have your remote control, which is a little more complicated. It has your D-pad, your OK button, and then a bunch of colored buttons and playback and stuff like that. But what I like about this remote is that it's fairly slim, it feels good in your hand. It actually doesn't feel as cheap as the remote controls from some of the competitors. Moving on to the apps that this player offers you, it displays them here in kind of a grid, I guess, NeoTV branded, and it offers some of the big apps that you want to have, that you need to have. There's your Netflix right here. There we go. There's your Netflix. There's your Cinema Now if you want to get VOD content. There's also Vudu, and interesting about this is it's 1080p video playback, and it also offers 5.1 surround sound. So if you have a home theater system, you can play Vudu content here with full surround sound, which is nice. It also has a YouTube player, which is a nice change from Roku, which until now still doesn't have a YouTube player. And then it has Pandora and a bunch of other stuff. So what does the Netgear NeoTV offer, aside from those big players, the big apps, the Netflixes and the YouTubes? Well, it has a bunch, I think a couple hundred actually, of other apps. And just to give you a quick idea, it has them here in categories. So you have movies and TV content, you have news and education with stuff like TED, Howcast, CNN, Web TV, so your Break, your Blip TV, Next New Networks. And actually, if you go to Lifestyle, just to take a look at one of those apps, and I guess also have a little bit of a disclaimer or full disclosure, it also has a Gigo MTV app. But if you take a look at these apps, what is similar to many of them is that they are powered by FlingGo, which is a web TV provider, an app platform provider that's available on many connected TVs nowadays as well, on the WD-TV devices. And essentially on the WD-TV, for example, it has all their content from different providers, from us, from others, within a single FlingGo app. Here it has split all those apps. You have dozens and dozens, or hundreds actually, of apps, but they all look very similar. Essentially what I would call podcast apps. So video podcasts that are available online. Now you can get through separate apps here, which is nice, but not terribly exciting. There's not a lot of exclusive content here. And essentially you can get most of this content as well through the FlingGo app on your WD-TV player. You can get it through some sources, most of it anyway on the Roku box. So it's not terribly unique. It's just that they split it up. They have a couple hundred apps and they all kind of look like this. And I would imagine you end up using just a few of those. Now, what's missing from this player? Well, for one, I already mentioned, it doesn't play any local content. There's no USB port on it. There's no way to stream anything over your local network. So if you want to play even your home videos, or if you want to play stuff that you have downloaded from the internet, this is not the player for you. Another thing that is notably absent is Hulu Plus. If you have a Hulu Plus subscription, or if you're thinking about if this would be a reason to get a device like this, also right now at least not the right player for you, because Hulu Plus is absent from this. And with that, I have to say, I can't really recommend this player to many people right now, because it seems like if you are really interested in online content only, if you want to mostly get your Netflix content, then Roku is a better choice. It starts at a cheaper price point, and it actually has Hulu Plus, which is a big advantage. If you also want to play local content, I would recommend the WD player over this, because it plays all of that plus most of the FlingGo stuff that you will find on here. It's a little more expensive, but it might be money well spent. And yeah, it is a nice player, the Netgear NeoTV. It looks nice, it has a bunch of apps, but a lot of it is kind of podcast content, which may be interesting to a few people, but doesn't really replace a cable TV subscription. And so with that, I would say, look for something else or wait a little bit until they revamp it and maybe get a little more content. So yeah, I don't like it, but maybe you disagree. Maybe you own it and you want to send me a comment why I'm wrong. Or maybe you've been thinking about buying something else, you have some questions. Well, send us all your comments, all your questions, all your thoughts to cordcutters@gigaohm.com. We always love to hear from you. You can also go to our website, gigaohm.com/cordcutters. And you will find links to all our online presences on Facebook, on Twitter, and on Google+. There, plus the recent episodes, cord cutting news, everything you want. Check it out, and otherwise I'm going to see you next time.